This video is about a stretch of road that comes through town here in central New Mexico and extends for about 45 miles right through Albuquerque on its way to Arizona and then to the Pacific coast. They started building it in the late 1920s. Americans had fallen in love with the automobile, and better roads, paved roads, were now needed to serve a country that was on the move. This road ran from Chicago down through the Midwest. It linked together the towns and cities of 7 states. It was the new Main Street. By the 1930s, it was mostly paved, replacing dirt roads that were often rutted and muddy, serving the needs of a rapidly changing country that had fallen in love with the automobile. And it is still here where I live, running right through town. They call it historic Route 66 now, because the old road is no longer a prime driving route. It's more like a frontage road because the interstate runs parallel to it. But for over 25 years, Route 66 was the key driving route from Chicago to Los Angeles, and that's about 2,400 miles of asphalt. It spawned the roadside diner, the motel, and countless gas stations. Building it was a prime works progress project that provided needed jobs during the Great Depression. An estimated 210,000 people migrated west on Route 66 to California, looking to escape the Dust Bowl of failed small farms, and Route 66 at that time symbolized the new road to opportunity. It is no wonder that in his classic 1939 novel The Grapes of Wrath, it was John Steinbeck who famously proclaimed Route 66 as the Mother Road. Over the years, the old highway also captured the imagination of not just travelers with their automobiles, but of songwriters, musicians, writers, and photographers. They all found inspiration in the road's ability to mobilize an entire country. Well, it ran over flat prairie lands and through a more temperate southern climate than what travelers faced on the northern highways. That made it especially appealing. The interstate highway system that was built in the 1950s was, of course, a needed improvement for cross-country travelers. And in the 1950s, the old Mother Road was replaced by the now familiar, massive, new 4-lane interstate highway system that skirted around small towns and cities instead of going through them. It met the new need to efficiently accommodate greater volume and faster travel between states. Here in New Mexico, Interstate 40 is, of course, very well known. In many areas, it follows right along the old Route 66. For a lot of us, it's now mostly a useful curiosity about a 35-mile-per-hour age that's long gone. Actually, today, an estimated 85% of the old Mother Road is still out there. These days, you look for any kind of diversion to keep you from worry. And this video drive from town along old Route 66 and through the city of Albuquerque has been my answer. A minor tribute to be sure, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So, is Route 66 still worth doing? Well, now you could call driving it a journey of discovery. You'll get to see the small towns of real America that the interstate system breezes right past. Some of the old historic motels and buildings and other things along the road are still there too. So what's wrong with driving at 50 miles an hour? I think it's nice that driving on this old mother road, you get the clear sense of the slower pace that was common back in the day. It also became apparent then that if people could afford to cheaply travel, they would inevitably be spending money on the journey. This opened up many opportunities for business. It didn't hurt that there would also be plenty to see along the way. I am no authority on Route 66, of course, and it has a storied history. Just a guy who likes to drive around and take pictures and put them together to make a story. I do have a minor connection to the road from, 70 years ago. It was in 1951, I think. Dad got recalled and was stationed for Korea in California. And he sent for us and we took the train out there. And we were living in California and had to make an emergency drive back home to New Jersey. This was before the interstates was built, of course, so we drove on Route 66. I don't remember much about it except for a serious sandstorm in the desert someplace. Windows closed, no air conditioning. One place I begged Dad to stop because I wanted to see Yosemite, but we were in a hurry and we got home in 5 days. Well, once in the city, here in Albuquerque, it runs right through it and is known there as Central Avenue, which remains the old commercial main street of Albuquerque. Roadside is all changed, of course, but a few of the old motels that serve the traveling public are still around, and we'll take a quick look at them. Since it is October of 2020 right now, and we are well into 7 months of dealing with that deadly COVID-19 pandemic, we wear our masks and keep our distance. Making this video gives me some diversion from all that, sheltering in place. The only good thing about it, I suppose, is here in New Mexico, infections and fatalities from the virus have been less than in most other states. Most of us here have been following the rules. Well, we took a chance and stopped here at the Frontier, an old favorite of ours, for a great Mexican lunch. The Elvado is one of New Mexico's first motels. It opened in 1937. Generations of families driving Route 66 have stayed there. It operated until 2005, and then it reopened in 2018 after major renovations and a court battle to save it. It is a cultural property and on the National Register of Historical Places, and of course it is an example of Pueblo revival architecture and an Albuquerque landmark. So you've driven through the city on Central Avenue, and then you're through it, and you're back on the outer fringes of Albuquerque on Route 66, and finally what's left of the old road, still running alongside the interstate. But here it's nothing more than a servant of the locals, very little used, but still taking you west, though hardly relevant. Here, a few miles west of the city limits, the old road comes to an end. A narrow, broken asphalt path vanishing beside the interstate. I didn't go any further. There was no point.